The Black Hebrew Israelites, along with other Black African nations, indeed played a significant role in the development of world culture as we know it today. African civilizations such as the Phoenicians, Egyptians, Nubians, and Axumites were known for their advanced knowledge of shipbuilding, navigation, and trade networks. They established robust maritime trade routes, connecting Africa to the Mediterranean, Middle East, Asia, and the Americas. Similarly, African nations developed writing systems like hieroglyphics, Demotic script, and Ge'ez, which predated European writing systems. These writing systems enabled the recording of history, literature, and scientific knowledge. Dr. John Henrik Clarke says, "The African continent is the cradle of human civilization. Africa is the birthplace of the world's oldest civilizations, and the source of the world's greatest cultural achievements," in his book, African People in World History. African civilizations also made significant contributions to building technologies, such as the construction of pyramids, temples, and other architectural wonders. In addition, African metallurgy and ironworking predates European developments, showcasing African ingenuity and technology. The University of Sankore in Timbuktu, a medieval center of learning and intellectual inquiry, exemplifies African achievements in education and knowledge sharing. In contrast, European civilizations developed later, with significant advancements occurring during the Common Era. Many European achievements were built upon the foundations laid by Black Africans and other ancient Black civilizations. The Black Hebrew Israelites and other Black African nations were among the first to explore and travel across the world's oceans. They possessed advanced maritime expertise and navigational skills, allowing them to establish trade routes and explore new lands. Dr. Runoko Rashidi says, "The Black Hebrew Israelites were a major force in the ancient world. They made significant contributions to the development of civilization, including the creation of the alphabet and the establishment of trade routes in Black Hebrew Israelites, the ancient roots of the Black Church." The ancient Africans developed sophisticated sailing technologies, such as the use of lateen sails and steering oars, which enabled them to traverse the Mediterranean, Red Sea, Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Ocean. They also developed a deep understanding of astronomy, which helped them navigate the seas. Some notable examples of African achievements include, and are not limited to, the ancient Egyptians, who sailed to the land of Punt, modern-day Ethiopia, and established trade routes with Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley civilization. Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop says, "The ancient Egyptians were Negroes. The pyramids, the Sphinx, and all the other monuments of ancient Egypt are the works of a Negro civilization." The Nubians, who built a powerful naval fleet and traded with the Mediterranean world. The Axumites, who established a vast trading empire that spanned the Red Sea and Indian Ocean. The Black Hebrew Israelites, who sailed to various parts of the world, including the Americas, long before European explorers. Ivan van Sertima says, "The Africans who came to the Americas in the 15th century were not slaves, but explorers, traders, and settlers. They came from a civilization that was older and more advanced than that of the Europeans." The Phoenicians built ships, trade networks, and created phonics and the alphabet as we know it. Dr. Malefi Kete Asante implies, "The ancient Africans developed a sophisticated system of writing, architecture, and engineering. Their achievements in these areas were unmatched in the ancient world." These Black African sailors, explorers, scientists, and scholars played a significant role in shaping global history, facilitating cultural exchange, and spreading knowledge and ideas across continents from Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas, based on historical and scientific evidence. 3500 BCE, ancient Egyptians develop hieroglyphics and establish trade routes with Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley civilization. 2500 BCE, Nubians build a powerful naval fleet and trade with the Mediterranean world. 1500 BCE, Phoenicians emerge as a major power-building ships, trade networks and creating phonics and the alphabet. 1000 BCE, Axumites establish a vast trading empire spanning the Red Sea and Indian Ocean. 500 BCE, Black Hebrew Israelites sail to various parts of the world, including the Americas. 1200 CE, University of Sankore in Timbuktu becomes a center of learning and intellectual inquiry. 1500 CE, African metallurgy and ironworking predates European developments. Here's a brief European achievement timeline for comparison. European achievement timeline: 500 BCE. Ancient Greeks developed philosophy with figures like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and theater, including tragedy and comedy, learned from Black Africans. 100 BCE, Romans developed concrete aqueducts and roads, but it was learned from Black Africans. 500 CE, medieval Europeans developed the heavy plow, horse collar, and windmills. 1000 CE, Vikings explore and settle in Iceland, Greenland, and Vinland, which is North America. 1200 CE, University of Oxford and University of Cambridge founded, also learned from Black Africans. 1400 CE, Renaissance begins in Italy, marked by artistic and cultural revival. 1462. The Portuguese attacked the Kingdom of Congo, which is present-day Angola, Congo, and parts of Gabon. 1480s. The Portuguese, Ashkenazi Jewish merchants and other European powers established slave trading posts along West Africa and beyond, targeting Black Hebrew Israelite kingdoms like the Wolof Empire and the Mali Empire. 1500 CE, European age of exploration begins, led by Portugal and Spain, learned about the Americas from the Black Hebrew Israelites. 1600 CE, scientific revolution begins, led by figures like Galileo, Kepler, and Newton. 1700 CE, Enlightenment emphasizes reason, individualism, and democracy. 1800 CE, Industrial Revolution transforms Europe with steam power and factories. Comparing this timeline to the African achievement timeline, we can see that African civilizations developed writing systems, maritime trade networks, and metallurgy, and pretty much everything else earlier than European civilizations. The transatlantic slave trade was a multifaceted phenomenon, with the Europeans being confederate with other nations and power structures, allowing them victory and advancement of the triangle slave trade. The slave trade erased the identity of the real Judeans from Israel and placed it firmly in the hands of European Edomites, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Mizrahi, and other non-descendants of the biblical Israelites. It also further stopped and stalled the prosperity and growth of all Black African civilizations, including Ethiopia. European achievements in philosophy, theater, and science emerged later, around 500 BCE to 1500 CE, and were achieved by conquest and the building upon and being influenced by Black African culture. The European age of exploration and industrial revolution and the transatlantic slave trade occurred later, from 1500 CE to 1800 CE. Whilst this is not an exhaustive list of achievements, the evidence is clear. Were it not for the confederacy of the European Edomites, Ashkenazi Jews, Arab, and African tribal leader confederacy, the transatlantic slave trade would not have been a successful ongoing venture. Please share, like, subscribe, and comment.